Hey, how's it going? If you happen to be catching this video live, do me a favor, hit pound live. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And if you happen to be catching this video via the replay, do me a favor and hit pound replay. Let me know where you are tuning in from. So today, the thing that I want to talk about is I want to talk about expanding your offerings in order that you can grow. At times, it's going to be necessary for you to expand your offerings because if you don't, it may make it just that much more difficult for you to expand, and it may make it just that much more difficult in order for you to grow. Hey, how's it going? How's it going there? So essentially, the first time I was introduced to this was many years ago, and at that time, I wasn't even in business, quite frankly. I was working for a smaller college, and when I was working for that small college started off by being a medical college. So what I mean is that they only offered one primary program, and it was a medical program. To be more specific, it was a nursing program. And that's the only thing that they focused on. That was a very good thing for them to begin with because they were specializing in one specific thing. At some point, right, they hit a ceiling and they hit a cap. And they hit a ceiling and they hit a cap for a couple of reasons. Reason number one is that from a nursing standpoint, from a medical student acceptance standpoint, they can only accept so many students on an annual basis. I don't remember what the exact number was, but they can only accept, say, I don't know, say 200 students every single year. And they did an amazing job at servicing those students, and they did an amazing job at graduating those students. But then again, they were at full capacity. That's the only thing that they could do. So what they started to see was that there were demands for other programs. So in order to expand their offerings, what they started to do is they started to offer other medical programs. I want to say, just hypothetically speaking, they may have started off with nursing, and then they started offering, LPN, and then they started offering medical assistant, and then they started offering other programs outside of the medical field. They started offering criminal justice, and they started offering business programs as well. And eventually, that school group was able to grow, and they were able to do very well. So, just to be exact, it makes a lot of sense for you to start off with specialization, and there's a lot of value in starting off with just one offering because you can become known for that one thing, right? But that school group could not have grown the way that they've grown today had they not expanded and had they not started to offer additional programs, all right? So that's the first time that I was introduced to this. So then the question you may be asking, or the question that I ask myself later down the line, how does this relate to, say, someone like myself or someone like you that may have one offering? So let's just say that the capacity in which you work with people now is that you work with people one-on-one. And that in order for someone to work with you, they have to get on a call so that way you can ask them a couple of questions. They can learn more about you. You can learn more about them. And you guys can decide if you are a right fit. And you decide to specialize. You decide that, hey, you know what? Your lane of genius is that you're going to work with people one-on-one, and or you want to work with people from a group coaching standpoint. And those are the only two programs that it makes sense for you to do. So when you think about the concept of a value ladder, there's a methodology. There's a saying out there that's called a value ladder. The value ladder just indicates that, hey, these are the different offerings that you have. Offering number one is you have a group coaching program. Offering number two is that you have a one-on-one coaching program. And based on entry point, those are the only two ways that people can work with you. However, at some point later down the line, you may want to offer some programs that people can go ahead and do for themselves. So for instance, one of the things that I decided to do at some point is I decided to put some programs out there that would allow people to engage and or to work with me on a they can do it themselves type of a methodology. So instead of saying, hey, you can only work with me by working with me one-on-one, or you can only work with me by working with me in a group coaching program, let me go ahead and create a course that you can go through on your own, and that course will allow you to be able to gain access to some of the content and some of my materials at a much lower price. So then what that allows me to do is that from an expansion standpoint, I can expand. So let's just say if I'm doing a group coaching program, my capacity is that I can only work with, say, I don't know, 5 people on a monthly basis, right? That's what I can do from a group coaching program standpoint. Well, if I go out and I create a course, that course can go ahead and, and attract and bring a lot more people through my funnel, because the course is unlimited. An unlimited number of people can go through and they can go ahead and access that course, and they can go ahead and go through your offerings, right? So when I say expansion, that's one thing that I talk about when I talk about from an expansion standpoint. Hey, how's it going? So that's the other thing that I think about when I think about the expansion standpoint. The other thing that I think about is I think about the funnel as well, because from a funnel standpoint, it removes you from the funnel. So me, when I decided that I was going to do the course, it wasn't necessary for people to go through and speak with me to go ahead and go through and gain access to my course. I remember I created a funnel, and in that funnel, I started off by just offering people a course for just $7, $7, that's it, right? Once they gain access to that $7 course, they had the ability to gain additional offerings from me. So it was a 3-page marketing funnel. Page number 1 is you can buy something for $7. Page number 2, you can buy something for $47. And then page number 3, you can go ahead and buy something for $97. So from an expansion standpoint, someone can go through that on their own. They can engage, they can buy some stuff from me, right, at a much lower cost. And I can go ahead and expand my reach, and I can go ahead and expand my offerings. The other thing that I want you to kind of just pay attention to as well is that you notice that I had them go through and give them the option to be able to buy multiple things from me at once, right? I started off with something that's just $7. So from an entry point standpoint, that's a low barrier, right? Of $7. A lot of people don't mind spending $7, with you per se. But then again, at the same time, after they spend the $7 with you, I'm also giving them the option to spend $47 with me. And in addition to that, $97 with me as well. So if I decide to go to paid traffic and paid media, I can make it work just that much more easier and just that much more better. If inside of my marketing funnel, the only thing that I was offering was just a $7 offering, it would make it just that much more difficult for me to make that work with paid marketing. Because keep in mind, I may have to pay $15, $16, $20 to be able to get a new customer. And if the only thing that I have in my store per se is just $7, then it's just that much harder to make that work. So when I think about expansion, I'm not thinking about it from a standpoint of I'm just going to expand my offerings, but I'm also going to basically create an entry point and create kind of like a value ladder per se, so that way I can make things work from an economic standpoint. Because keep in mind, I'm going from, hey, offering someone a group coaching, which may be like $1,000 program or $2,000 program, to now all of a sudden offering that person a course or something at a much lower level. So when you think about expansion, I want you to think about the funnel and or the process that someone goes through in order to do business with you, as well. You want to think about, the offering and the number of things that they can buy inside of the offering. So that's what's on my mind today, and that's what I wanted to go ahead and share with you. In the event that you decide you want to go ahead and expand your offering, right? It doesn't always make sense for you to do that right away, and I usually advocate that people start off with something more one-on-one and or more group coaching level, and then at some point go ahead and expand down, right? Just like I gave you the example earlier with the school group, and just like I did, and just like some of the other people have done as well. There's a few of you that's here live. Thanks for tuning in. Yes, when you're doing ads you have to convert those costs. Yes, you're right. Absolutely correct. When you're doing ads, you have to be able to take into account those costs, because what happens is that if I have a group coaching program that's $2,000 and I'm using ads, I don't mind paying $200, $300, or even $400 to get a new buyer. Because if I spend $300 to get a new buyer, and that person pays me $2,000, all of a sudden I just made $1,700, right? But if I'm taking that person through a quote unquote low ticket offering or a course offering, and the only thing I'm offering is something for $7, then it makes it just that much harder for the math to work, because you have to pay to gain that buyer. So that's what's on my mind. That's what I wanted to go ahead and share with you today. Thanks for tuning in. That's all I have for now. I'll talk to you soon.